Something happened on a Tuesday night that no one can fully explain, and the strangest part is not what happened after the warning, but how calm the warning was when it first arrived. There was no alarm, no emergency siren, no frantic interruption of broadcasts. Every screen in the country simply faded, as if a curtain had been gently drawn across reality, and a government insignia appeared floating in a haze of static. A woman sat behind a desk that looked too plain to belong to any real office, her posture perfect, her eyes steady, and in a voice so calm it bordered on soothing, she told everyone watching that at precisely 9:42 p.m., no one should look at the moon. Curtains were to be closed. Windows covered. Outdoor activity suspended. Do not photograph the sky. Do not observe the moon until further notice. The message ended without explanation, and the world returned to normal programming as if nothing unusual had happened. At first, people laughed. The internet treated the warning like a joke that had written itself, the kind of absurd announcement that demanded memes and countdowns and live stream challenges. News channels speculated about secret experiments, satellite malfunctions, and elaborate publicity stunts. Talk shows made sketches about rebellious moon watchers. The idea of being told not to look at something in the sky felt childish and ridiculous. Humans have always looked upward. It is one of the oldest habits we have. And when you tell people not to look at something, curiosity does not shrink. It grows teeth. But the laughter didn't last as long as people would later pretend it did. Hardware stores quietly sold out of blackout curtains and duct tape. People who insisted the warning was nonsense still closed their blinds earlier than usual. Neighborhoods dimmed faster than normal as evening approached, lights switching on before darkness fully arrived. No one panicked. No one shouted. Yet something had shifted, and the world seemed to sense it all. At once. The minutes leading up to 9:42 p.m. stretched strangely, like time had slowed just enough to make anticipation uncomfortable. Live streams began appearing from rooftops and balconies, thousands of people determined to prove the warning meant nothing. They laughed louder than usual, spoke faster than usual, and smiled a little too long, as though trying to convince themselves that bravery and defiance were the same thing. Cameras tilted upward. Chat feeds exploded with excitement. And then, at 9:43 p.m., the first live stream ended. There was no scream. No dramatic final words. The camera simply pointed toward the moon as it cleared the horizon, bright and sharp and impossibly clear, and the person filming went completely still. Their smile faded into nothing. The video froze. The stream ended. Viewers refreshed their screens, confused and impatient, assuming it was a glitch. Then the second live stream ended. And the third. And the fourth. Within minutes, every stream ended the same way: laughter, silence, stillness. Emergency services began receiving calls that night. Then, just as suddenly, they stopped receiving them altogether. Phone lines did not jam. They simply grew quiet, as though a collective breath had been taken and never released. At midnight, every screen flickered again. The same woman appeared, sitting in the same chair, wearing the same expression. This time her message was shorter. Remain indoors. Do not discuss the moon. The broadcast did not end. Morning arrived, but sunrise did not. The sky lightened into a dull gray and stayed that way, as though daylight had forgotten its purpose halfway through the journey. Birds did not sing. Traffic did not return. The world felt paused, suspended in a permanent moment between night and day. People began noticing small things first. Mirrors that seemed slow. Reflections that blinked a fraction of a second late. Smiles that lingered too long. Videos circulated briefly before vanishing, leaving only whispered descriptions and a growing sense that something was no longer behaving correctly. Within days, a stranger realization spread across the world. People could no longer remember what the moon looked like. They remembered its existence, its shape, its place in the sky, but the details had slipped away. Photos appeared blurry. Paintings looked unfinished. Children struggled to draw it. Then came the hum. It was not loud. It was not even truly audible. It was a vibration felt through floors and walls and bones, a low, endless resonance that made the air feel heavier. Scientists called it atmospheric interference. Everyone else called it dread. People began waking in strange places inside their homes. Hallways. Kitchens. Near windows. Curtains that had been taped shut appeared slightly open in the morning. Security footage corrupted itself during the night hours. Shadows began stretching in impossible directions, as though light came from somewhere the sky did not show. Entire apartment buildings went dark overnight. No signs of struggle. No signs of departure. Just open windows and empty rooms. Days blurred into weeks, and the broadcast remained, looping endlessly. Until one day, the woman returned with a new message. Thank you for your cooperation. Clouds began moving in slow spirals across the unmoving sky, circling a point no one could see. People stopped asking what had happened to the moon and began asking a different question. What had replaced it? Curtains began parting across cities and towns in perfect unison, windows opening as though responding to a silent invitation. The hum faded. The clouds vanished. The sky cleared for the first time since the warning. And there it was. The moon hung larger than memory allowed, brighter than night could hold, perfectly still and impossibly clear. And in that final moment of understanding, humanity realized the warning had never been about protecting them from the moon. It had been about protecting them from being noticed by whatever had learned to look back.